Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and a few updates before we get into today's Ogdoadic Lair of Darkness, or, as I like to call it, the Lair of Snakes. Snake Lair? You guys tell me which one's better. For this last week's contest winners, which are actually the last 2 weeks' contest winners, because there were no new commenters, and I hadn't sent out yet because I was still waiting on some addresses. I just went ahead and you guys won both weeks, and that has been sent out since yesterday. So congrats, and thank you guys for supporting the channel. It means so much to me. If you guys want to be a winner for the final week, which is this week, you just got to get in there before this Friday and leave a comment on the Speed Duel Spotlight for this week. That's all you got to do. And then be responsive when I message you in the comments. That's all. Second, this deck is for my friend. And by that, I mean some of the sleeves are my black sleeves and some of them are going to be blue sleeves that are his. This is due to the fact that I could not playtest this week because he's my playtest partner. So what this deck really is it's sort of like his gift and also a modified version of an Ogdoadic deck that I found online. So this is not an original. This is just a modified version of a deck. I've got a 41 card main and a 15 card extra. Did not build a sideboard. So that's what we're going to feature today, all right? As such, there will be no test hand video tomorrow. Just take Friday off, guys. Because I don't really have any play experience with this deck. This is all based off what I think is going to work the best. And you guys let me know. So let's get you guys that deck list, all right? I'm going to start with the 16 monsters. We're going to have 3 copies. Arima, the Wicked Warden. Kind of a staple if you guys are going to be playing Lair of Darkness. It is what it is. And from here on out, just please, I apologize. I'm going to be terrible with pronouncing these guys because their names are unique. So let's try it. 1 copy Aliert, the Ogdoadic Dark. 1 copy Amunesia, the Ogdoadic Queen. 1 copy Aaron, the Ogdoadic King. 1 copy Flogos, the Ogdoadic Boundless. 1 copy, and I'm going to go with Curse, the Ogdoadic Light. 3 copies of Nauya, the Ogdoadic Remnant. 3 copies Nunu, the Ogdoadic Remnant. Single copy Ogdoadic, the Ogdoadic Overlord. And 1 copy Zohan, the Ogdoadic Boundless. So again, pretty cool. We streamlined it to about 16. We wanted a bunch of different names except the remnants. Felt that this worked the best. Again, lack of playtest. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably I'm wrong. This deck probably would have been better if I would have expanded this out a little further and gone with a chaos theme with all this light and dark. And that's a discussion for another video another day after he gets his cards. So thanks for understanding. Let me clear the board and we'll go ahead with the spells. It's actually the majority of the deck. So give us a second. Starting off, our spells is actually going to signal part of our extra deck for you guys. And part of that is going to be double or nothing at a single copy. Again, so many level 4s gives us the opportunity to go to double, regular, Utopia, and try for a 1/, that it's almost silly if I don't put that in as my 41st card. Continuing, we got a single copy Feather Duster, 3 Layers of Darkness for our bit of control aspect, single monster Reborn, single copy Ogdoadic Origin for a secondary field spell that has some definite applications. We're also going to run 3 copies Ogdoadic Water Lily. I'm actually going to skip Foolish Burial this time, just because, I mean, of course, 4 copies makes it more consistent, but I do like the pairing of the effect here with the Lily. If you guys don't have the Utopia, the double, then you could just kick out the double or nothing, and you guys could just include a Foolish Burial. That would be fine, too. As far as my draw cards, since I'm not playing the Chaos variant, I went with 3 copies Pot of Duality. Just made the most sense for me. Single copy Geki. 1, 2, 3 copies of Snake Rain. 3 copies of my Super Polymerization. Single copy of both Terraforming and Upstart. Might as well keep it going. Get you 3 trap cards in there real quick. That's 1, 2 Ogdoadic Callings and a single Ogdoadic Hollow. And again, I do feel like this is important that the majority of the deck be suited this way. It just is what it is. Plus, whatever ends up in your hand that you don't need, Super Poly can discard that additional card. So if you end up with 2 Snake Rains, but you only want to play 1, you're totally backed up to go into the Super Poly play. You don't have to worry about it. So it should be fine. Should be fine. You guys play test it. Let me know how it is. Let me clear the board one more time, and I'll give you guys the extra deck. All right, moving into that extra deck again, we had 3 super polymerizations. So I wanted to have exactly 3 targets. So I'm going to go with the basic Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. You guys could use that Predaplant. I want to say his name is Trifavalium, something along those lines. He would be 3 dark monsters and maybe like a good like a 2-1 split for this. 2 Starving Venom, 1 of him. I don't personally own one, so I just go with the 3 Starving Venoms. And again, 2 monsters, not that hard to do. Again, since you guys saw the double or nothing, obviously we will be playing a Utopia double plus Utopia. And to further that, I'm also going to be running Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Just on the turns that you might want to do something about it, you can. Going into the links, and this is the crazy bit, I actually found a use for an Alien Shock Trooper, so we're going to run that at 1. We're going to run our Boral Sword, our IP Masquerena, regular Nightmare package, all 3 Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. I am going to use the Verde Anaconda without playing my Dragoon, only because I felt like that would take a little too far away from the snakes. And honestly, this just really boosts up my ability to play the Super Polys. 1 copy Reptilian Echidna, and 1 copy Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So, guys, if you just stopped by for the deck list, that is it. I hope that you guys get a chance to play test it. Let me know how it works out. Again, between this being a kind of a surprise for George and also helping out on the wife's channel this week, playing the original Kirby from the regular Nintendo, and trying to beat it 100% in 3 days. I'm not sure if the final video is today or tomorrow. It's been a bit of a week. So this is what I got for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoy it. And then, you know what? We'll probably do Ogdoadics again at a later date. And then we'll play more of like a reptile chaos build. It should be amusing at the very least. And I hope that you guys will keep coming back. So if you guys want to support the channels, hit the sub. If you've done that, keep watching. If you were just here for the deck list, you guys have a great day. Everybody else, let's just go over these effects real quick and make sure that we all understand them. Make it a little easier to justify my choices. And so starting back in the main deck, we are going to start with Arima, the Wicked Warden. So he is going to be like a fetch card similar to Terraforming for us. You can discard this to add 1 Layer of Darkness from the deck to your hand. Additionally, once per turn, you can tribute 1 dark monster, draw 1 card, or if you tribute a dark monster that was not this card, in order to activate the effect, you can add 1 dark monster with 2k or more defense from the deck to your hand instead. You may use this effect only once per turn. And again, it's hard once per turn. Note the quotes. That is important. He's not terrible. He's a good 4-star, 1700. And with Layer of Darkness, we could be offing our opponent's monsters, which are now also dark. So again, we do get sort of a controlling off-boarding effect while gaining an advantage. And we get to choose if we want to do the draw 1 or do the tutor when we're doing that. So again, very good. As you can tell, those are for my guy George. We got the single copy Aliert, and he's one of our 8 stars. He's the dark. If this is in your graveyard, you contribute 1 monster, special summon this card. Then your opponent can add 1 monster from their graveyard to their hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target 2 of your banished monsters, including a reptile. Return them to the graveyard. Each effect once per turn. Again, if we were playing more of the chaos build where we're doing a lot more removals, this is actually way more useful. And again, could be a trade-in target as well. So that is also worth noting. Right now, he's a good solid 1 of. He is not going to be a target for Arima. Somebody who will be a target is Amunesia, the Ogdoadic Queen. And again, another 8-star. So again, trade-in target. If this is in the graveyard, you contribute 2 monsters, special summon this card. If a monster or monsters is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard during the damage step, you may send 1 card they control to the graveyard. If a monsters is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you may special summon 1 light or dark reptile from your graveyard, except same name. Each effect once per turn, hard once per turn. So it's okay to only play 1. In a Chaos build, you might play 2, just for consistency issues. And again, it's going to help you limit off what your opponent has. So it is fantastic. I would definitely recommend playing it. Aaron, Ogdoadic King, also 8 stars. Another potential trade-in target. Again, like a Chaos build would be so much fun as well. And again, it's something I do believe we will touch back on later. If this one is in the graveyard, you contribute 2 monsters to special summon this card. If the opponent adds a card or cards to their hand, except during the draws phase or damage step, send 1 random card from their hand to the graveyard. This is another great one. If a monsters your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard, except damage step, you may add 1 light or dark reptile from deck or graveyard to hand, except same name. Each effect hard once per turn. Pairs off great with the Queen. Going into Flogos, if this is sent from the field to the graveyard or special summoned from the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and 1 monster in their graveyard with an equal or higher attack than the target. Special summon the graveyard target to the field, and if you do, send the field monster to the discard pile. So switch their places. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. You can use this effect once per turn, or each effect once per turn. So again, it makes a lot more sense now that you know that he's totally recurring. We got Curse, the Ogdoadic Light, another 8 stars. So again, another trade-in target, potentially. If this is in the graveyard, you contribute a monster, special summon this card. Then your opponent can special summon 1 monster from their graveyard, negate its effects. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Ogdoadic in the graveyard. Special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can use each effect once per turn. And again, really think about that. You tribute the monster, special summon it, then you can bring back the same monster as long as it was a level 4 or lower. So you can start generating some field presence. Again, 2400 defense is going to be searchable off with the effect, as was the King through the effective Arima. So again, 1 makes a lot of sense. Nauya, the Ogdoadic Remnant, can be searched. It is 2000 defense. You can send this from the hand to the graveyard. Send 1 light reptile from deck to grave. If this is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Ogdoadic spell trap from the deck to the hand. Each effect once per turn. And again, this is just a really good starting play, just to get some stuff going. And Nunu the Remnant, again, send this from the hand to the graveyard. Send 1 dark reptile from the deck to the graveyard. If you control no monsters or you control a single Ogdoadic monster, you can special summon this card from the graveyard but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters except reptiles while this is face up in the monster zone. You may only use each effect of Nunu once per turn. So again, be careful on your link builds with this, but otherwise, fairly solid effect. Ogdoadic, the Ogdoadic Overlord, our other one of. If this is in the graveyard, you contribute 3 monsters. Special summon this card once while this is face up on the field. As a quick effect, you can send all monsters on the field to the graveyard except face up monsters special summon from the graveyard. You can use each Ogdoadic Overlord once per turn. So, that's pretty awesome. And he's sort of a board wipe on his own. And then last but not least for the monsters, Zoha. I mispronounced that earlier. I called him Zohan. The Ogdoadic Boundless. If this is sent from the field to the graveyard or a special summon from the graveyard, you can activate the effect. Your opponent draws 1 card. If they do, you add 1 Ogdoadic monster from your deck to the hand except same name. Then each player sends 1 card from their hand to the graveyard. If this card is in the graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to add this back to the hand. You may use each effect once per turn. So again, another nice recurring effect. Going into the spells, you guys understand the double or nothing play. So that's cool. Feather Duster just blows up a back row. Lair of Darkness. All face-up monsters on the field immediately become dark attribute. Once per turn, if you would tribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you can tribute one dark monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control it. Once per turn, during the end phase, special summon as many torment tokens to a turn player's field as possible, equal to the number of monsters tributed this turn while this spell was face up. So again, you do have the ability to start generating some field advantage with tokens. If you do this during the opponent's turn, they will get the tokens. But really, this is going to help with Arima's effect, and it's going to give you that blanket ability that regardless of what your opponent's playing, Super Poly and Starving Venom Fusion Dragon are going to be just great weapons for your arsenal. Monster Reborn, great generic extender. Ogdoadic Origin, another great field spell. Let's check this out. If a face-up reptile monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent card effect, you can target a card your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, which I love over destroy. If this card in the field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can send a number of cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the graveyard equal to the number of reptile monsters with different names in your graveyard. Okay. This could destroy a good portion of a deck, which is why I went with so many different names. We tried to include like one of every one of the Ogdoadics. And, you know, if they're playing some deck stacking effect, which is kind of rare anymore, this will mess it up. The Ogdoadic Water Lily, send a reptile from the deck to the graveyard. Then if you have 5 or more with different names of the graveyard, special summon one reptile from the graveyard. Activate one of these per turn. So this is part Foolish Burial, part Monster Reborn, and definitely 100% you guys need to play it. It's super cheap too. I want to say this was only like 10 cents. The Pots of Duality, you guys know this one. This is going to hurt your turn. So basically you want to try to set something up and then use these on the in-between turns where you're not pressing for advantage. Reveal top 3, or sorry, excavate top 3. Add 1 to your hand, shuffle the rest back. Activate one of these per turn, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate it. So it does hurt you a little bit, which is why I keep mentioning a Chaos build that uses trade-ins instead, because it would be a draw 2 instead of an excavate to add 1. Raigeki, just good, blow up the field. Snake Rain, discard a card, send 4 reptiles from the deck to the graveyard. And this is amazing because you play this and then the Lily, and then suddenly you're just amazing. You've already got 5 to 6 reptiles already in your discard pile, which immediately makes room for you to just create a bunch of plays, but additionally allowing you to immediately get the summon off the Lily. So you want to maximize that as well. The Super Poly, again, you can make the monster using cards from anywhere on the field, which is why we want the field spell to do its job. Terraforming, which will allow us to get Ogdoadic Origin if we need it over the Lair of Darkness, or again, it counts as another Lair of Darkness, so you don't have to pitch the Arima. You do have the Upstart Goblin. Again, you should be able to take advantage really quick, so the 1,000 life points shouldn't matter too much. The traps are kind of fun. I love the Ogdoadic Calling. We actually get 2 effects with this. The first is special summon 2 Ogdoadic tokens. But if we have 8 or more Ogdoadic monsters with different names in the graveyard, we can apply this effect instead to special summon 2 reptiles with different names from the graveyard. So again, this could be our links if we've already played them. It's kind of cool, but the tokens are useful as well. And then 1 copy Ogdoadic Hollow. And again, with this one being continuous, it's better at 1. During the main phase, you attribute a reptile effect monster. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your side of the field. Send it to the graveyard during the end phase. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this face-up card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, send all face-up non-reptile monsters you control to the graveyard. So again, with the characters, it could just keep coming back. We can use the Ogdoadic Hollow to just keep bringing back our opponent's top-tier cards. And again, we're allowed to use them for whatever. If we want to link, if we want to fuse, if we want to overlay, or we just want to beat our opponent up with it, we can. Going into the extra deck, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon again. We can't use tokens, but we can use any 2 dark monsters on the field. If this is Fusion Summon, make it gain attack equal to 1 opponent's special summon monster until the end of the turn. Once per turn, target a level 5 or higher monster they control. Till the end of this turn, this card's name becomes that card. Replace this effect with that monster's original effects. And if this fusion summoned card is destroyed, you can destroy all of your opponent's special summon monsters. The best part, though, is you're going to be playing it off Super Poly, so they really can't respond to the summon. At least, I don't believe so, because I believe the summon is still while the super polymerization is on the field. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That is a point I would like to make. The Divine AA Zeus is obviously here to clear board, just in case the summon of Utopia fails or you end up drawing into the double or nothing. Again, Utopia is here for the double or nothing. Utopia doubles here for the double or nothing. Alien Shock Trooper, this is one I wanted to talk about. Nice little link to 2 reptiles. Quick effect, discard a monster. Place 8 counters or alien counters equal to the original level on the face-up monsters on the field, distributed as you wish. If this card is then destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon non-link reptile monsters with different names from the graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 8 counters. Use each effect once per turn. And again, if you guys don't have some of my cards, because some of them are expensive, you know, IP Masquerena is still like 14-ish, Boral Sword's like 20-ish maybe, Goddess of the Closed World getting close to 30. Feel free to just fill in with Alien Shock Troopers, because that effect's actually really fun. Especially because you can drop an 8-star, and if they have a full board of 6, counting their extra zone, you can special summon back 6. Well, 5, because I think they can only go to the back row. Is what it is. Boral Sword for getting punchy, going over things. IP Masquerena, a good way to offboard your tokens, actually, into a link play. Cerberus, you can use your tokens here for any of the nightmares, but they have to be with different names, so it would be like 1 Torment token plus other cards. And again, Cerberus can take out a special summon monster, Phoenix a back row card, Unicorn, seal 1 card back to the opponent deck. Verde Anaconda will allow us to use any 2 effect monsters, and this will allow us to, again, get our Super Poly off. So that's a thing. We could still do it without drawing it. You should probably use your Verde Anaconda, though, as part of the Super Poly, just in the fact that you won't be able to special summon after you use this effect, and the fact that you don't really want to leave a 500-point card just laying up in the front like that. The other really cool card I wanted to talk about was the try that again, guy. Reptilian Echidna. And this one's very cool. 2 monsters, including a reptile. So again, we can get rid of a Torment token. We could use those 2 tokens that we get off of the Ogdoadic Calling, which would be really cool. If this card is link summoned, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. It doesn't say till the end of the turn, so that'll be permanent. During the main phase, if your opponent controls a monster or monsters with 0 attack, you can add reptile monsters with different names from the deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except reptiles. Each effect once per turn. But again, Reptilian Echidna, really fun, really cool to play. And then you guys should know the Underworld Goddess Closed World. This is 4+ effect monsters. We could use 1 off our opponent's side of the field. Good to help us offboard something. When it is link summoned, it negates the effects of all face-up monsters the opponent currently controls. This link summon card is unaffected by opponent activated effects unless they target. And once per turn, when the opponent activates a card or effect that would special summon from the discard pile, negate that activation as a quick effect. So, very fun, I think. And again, I think, in all honesty, I think the Underworld Goddess is the only card that George doesn't have. So, George, I hope you like this deck. This is really built for you. I hope that you guys did enjoy this. And again, if you guys wanted to see me play through Kirby, you guys just check out the description today. And you should see the link to me playing Kirby on my wife's channel. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Do me one more favor, guys. Have a wonderful day. Go out and do something for yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Later.